Oh, don't be such a baby! What has Spelunky 2.5 been up to in the 2 months or more? I have not kept track, but it has been a while since I have visited Spelunky 2.5. The answer is nothing at all. Come on, TommTamm? No new versions at all. For a whole... Okay, I was going to say, was this crate depleted? Was there absolutely nothing in this crate? What the hell? Well, TommTamm has been taking a sabbatical, has been taking a break from mod development. Despite all of those nudes that I sent him, I can't believe that he just did not keep on top of releasing new Spelunky 2.5 versions every 3 minutes. I am very disappointed in you, TommTamm and company. I see you there, Harry. I see all of you in your smug team full of lazy bones that just don't want to produce updates to Spelunky 2.5 anymore. We'll see. I'll forgive you if there's 0 crashes. I'll forgive you, and I will believe that your work has been done. Otherwise, there will be hell to pay. Oh, those nudes that are going to start getting freaky, that's going to start getting weird, all those things that are going to get in your inbox from me with all kinds of warts and strange positions and up and down puckered holes. It's all going to make you feel extremely uncomfortable until I get new versions of Spelunky 2.5 that I can pick apart and be a total whiny little bitch about. That's only if there is a crash. If there's no crash, well, I guess we will just have to deem the mod feature complete, won't we? And we can simply be happy about it. Do you like the incredible riding belt that I have picked up that allows me to have super turkeys? Very happy with it. This is one of the 2.5 additions that I feel should be in the vanilla game. Make riding animals not obnoxious. I could take or leave the super jump. It is very nice, but that does feel a little, I don't know, a little out of pocket. But definitely the auto taming. Man, is it nice. Why am I stomping this spider? What was that? What was that? I don't know. I think the turkey stunned me. That's what happened there. It was the turkey bone that got in my craw, and I was unable to stop that from happening. So already we are basically doomed. But don't worry, for I will cook a bunch of turkeys. I will save a bunch of animals, and I will be back on the path to success. When I was 18, let's talk about the paradox of the crucible of youth before I get into really complicated levels that will require all of my attention and all of my concentration. Well, I call complete bullshit on that scorpion attack. The paradox of the crucible of youth. It is very simple to put it in broad terms. When you're growing up, if there is no some sort of, I don't want to say traumatic, I think challenging, extremely challenging event that makes you kind of transition from childhood into adulthood, you're going to be missing something really vital for your development. And the paradox is in the way that you, as a parent, you don't want your children to go through any trauma. You don't want them, you know, if you're a good, caring parent that wants the absolute best for their children, you don't want to subject them to terrible things, but without going through some kind of difficult, terrible experience that doesn't completely traumatize them for life, obviously. you have to strike some kind of balance there, but it's a tough, difficult challenge that they have to face on their own, and they have to like figure it out, you know? Without that, the development becomes severely stunted to the point that they might become a completely useless piece of garbage, like we see so many man-children and an extremely stunted, developmentally stunted woman on the internet. Both men and women are terribly subject to this, and it's what comes from the entire weak men make for hard times. That is, you know, a shorthand for if you don't grow up in a challenging environment, you're going to be somebody that cannot surmount challenges. So how does a good parent solve that? A parent that wants their children to be well adjusted, but also doesn't want them to be traumatized, and also wants to continue being a caring parent. And here's where it comes the extreme hot take: military service. Obviously, not literally. I don't think that's very obvious, but a little bit of context. When I was growing up, this still happens in Korea, but when I was growing up in Spain, military service was mandatory. You turned 18 and you had to just go and serve like 3 years. I think my cousin did 2 years. Not sure about that, but I always remember it because my brother was right at the cutoff, and we were all so relieved that my brother didn't want to go. Didn't have to go. He did not have to go and do that. But if you think about what the military service is in a time of peace, it basically is hardcore summer camp. You are going to a place where you have to fend for yourself, but you're never going to be in life-threatening trouble unless, I don't know, you put a rifle in your mouth. And you're going to be having to go through a bunch of rules. You're going to have to go through a bunch of experiences dealing with possibly very difficult people. You're going to have to shit in a place with toilets in a row, and you're just shitting next to other people. That builds a lot of character, my man. I don't mean this literally, though. Like, literally military service is not the solution, but it's like the closest I can think to some experience in which you have to fend for yourself and face some real challenges, but it's also a controlled environment, and it's not your parents that are the source of the suffering, and therefore you don't resent them forevermore. You know what I'm saying? The optimal version of this would be some kind of difficult summer camp, 1 year experience. Everybody agrees that, hey, we need to teach our 18-year-old children to become real adults, to navigate the adult world and gain a bit of perspective and skills. We're going to have... These are millennials coming up with this idea, so they're going to say, we're going to have adulting year. And adulting year will put you through your paces, and it will be a tough experience. You should, at one point, shower while crying. You should have that experience. And at the end of it, you'll just feel transformed into somebody who can just do some minimum fending for themselves kind of thing, and can deal with a crisis without completely falling apart. That is the entire objective. And I was thinking about all this simply because thinking about my own personal crucible of youth. Because let me tell you, brother, if I had not gone through it, sometimes I think about it with shudders and cold sweats about the useless piece of garbage that I was the soft little twerp as opposed to now, which I am an extremely tough, hyper-developed, manly man. You know, who can deal with absolutely every single crisis that comes at him with barely a shrug. I am a hardened individual with hardly any concern for difficulty. Any kind of difficulty. It's just another day in my life. I can just deal with it. But I will consider what would life have been without me going through that stuff at 19, without having that entire experience of dropping all of my life and going to fend for myself somewhere else. And just having to figure out, I'm going to get this timing right. There you go. That was extremely stupid. And I don't know, man. I guess I would have stayed studying physics. What do we got here? Olmec, huh? We're not going to deal with this fellow today. We're just going to move on with our lives. Olmec is not going to make any difference whatsoever. We're just going to keep going to some kind of exit. That's robot land, which I do not want to engage with. This is just tide pool, right? Let's go in there. Let's go in there. The puny little twerp who did not appreciate, like, that boy. Intellectually, he was aware of all his extreme luck and privilege, but he did not behave like he appreciated them, you know? You know what I'm saying? I had a weird relationship with my father, who is a freaking... he should be canonized as a modern-day saint. Just didn't have that appreciation and just couldn't deal with even phone calls. He was so freaking pathetic to think about. And I mean, I am sure eventually I would have faced some kind of crisis in that particular life. This is just a nightmare. What am I supposed to do with this freaking crab? I need to go through a crucible on my own so I can deal with this. Do I want to care about you? No. The answer is no. I guess I'm doing this. This is awful, and I hate every moment of it. I would have stayed in college, maybe gotten my degree, just zombieing my way through that degree that I didn't really like. You know, when you study physics, when you go into physics, you have all these ideas of being a scientist, right? But then you do actual science and you realize the absolute mind-destroying tedium that doing science entails. What's down here in 2.5? There's a freaking sword in 2.5. What the? I want those things. Oh, we would need a freaking key. Let's just go through here. You don't really realize how extremely boring doing science truly is. Some people enjoy it. More power to them. It wasn't for me, brother. Going to the lab and the tedious of the meticulousness and the repetition. Astronomy is probably the absolute worst of them all. Is spending your days, you think you're looking at the stars, you're just sitting in a room staring at lists of numbers all day, day in and day out. Sometimes you might be able to rent a telescope and you might be able to see a speckle of extremely distant stars and have to interpret as a smear of color if you're lucky. But if you're doing your everyday work, you're just staring at lists of numbers. This is not first-hand experience. I am just making it up, but I'm pretty sure I'm right anyway. Anyway, that was a tangent. So I would have gotten that degree, and I would have like tried to find a job related to that degree. Probably have to stick to that university. Just try to find a position in that university. Probably end up having to teach if I wanted to do any kind of research. What do we got? Never seen before. Very interesting. What do, you blank-faced monstrosity? You shoot super poison. I don't know if I dare try to stab this thing. Oh, that doesn't even hurt it. Okay, you suffer no damage. I think you have to kill his little minions over here, huh? Is that how it works? They probably are aggressive, though. I don't know what he's doing. What kind of damage do you suffer? What the hell? Okay, let me just wait this out. Hopefully they don't turn around. What kind of health do you guys have? This is outrageous. Die? Oh, well, we have an error. It doesn't get captured by OBS. There's a Lua error mod. Error. String local globals require globals 3104. Attempt to index a number value. Local mummy. Stack traceback. String local globals equal require globals. And bracket 3104. In function string, it faded away. That's unfortunate. Look, the attempt had to be done, all right? It had to be done. Let's go back to the place. And all the while, I would have been desperately looking for love. Boy, was that child, that 18-year-old child, so lovesick. He was in love with the idea of being in love, like most teenagers are, you know. Damn, was he a horny boy. But not just horny. Obviously, a teenage man is going to be horny. But there was something much deeper there, a desperation to be in a loving relationship. He really wanted, well, son of a bitch. That is so weird. The shotgun I'm wielding becomes forbidden, but the one he dropped, it is usable. Let's see what's going on there, TommTamm. Don't know what's going on there, but I am sure that we will figure it out. Anyway, this is a great start for I get turkey flesh. Some extra health, there you go. But I am sure that that entire life experience would have had some kind of weird curveball, and I would have had to deal with some kind of nonsense with that as well, so who knows? That's something that is always fun to think about, all the alternative lives. Every moment of your life, you're going to choose different paths, but there are big decisions that are going to literally alter the course in an extremely radical difference from one to the other. It's always a real brain teaser to think about those and what might have happened had life gone down that way. I don't think the person I am now would like the person that I would be had I followed that different path. It's really strange. Anyway, my crucible was, you see, I met this girl online, and well, through a number of things, I decided to drop everything and come to live with her here. And that entire experience, there's a lot more to it. Don't want to do any kind of privacy violation. But that entire experience just fundamentally challenged everything that I needed to deal with and face. And I had to go through a transformation in order to be able to just continue function as a human being. And the person that came out the other end, I think I like him quite a lot better than what I've otherwise become. Maybe I shouldn't be bringing up the topic if I'm going to speak in vagaries like this instead of, you know, addressing actual specific things that are the important, interesting thing to talk about. But I am more interested in whatever you have to say. Whenever the conversation comes to stuff like this, whenever me, the Uber driver, starts talking about deep topics, pretending to have any kind of insight or things that are just so damn deep. Every time I'm talking about stuff like this, I get in my head the meme of I am 14 years old and this is so deep. Might there be a cute little a cute little dog that I can put in a sacrificial altar so that I may benefit from its suffering? So what does this do? Is this just a teleport pack? How does it work, TommTamm? This really doesn't work like a usual teleporter. No idea. But I'm sure if I wear it long enough, we're going to suffer an extremely lethal consequence to wearing it. It does give you resources when you go into a different level, so that's nice. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, this maniac is actually a real problem. He is a roadblock. Oops. But there's two, though. Let's witness the massacre that they will inflict upon one another. And then I guess we will deal with the dregs, the remnant, or get murdered instantly. Certainly the change I would make to the current system without having to offend it in any weird way is simply saying, let's ban completely the continued education from high school to college. Let's make it mandatory that there is at least a 2-year period between... Oh, geez. There's a curse upon this place. 2-year period, some kind of period. The specifics can be worked out in due time. Some kind of period that forces students into, I guess, the labor market. I don't know exactly what kind of obligation. Some kind of obligation that prevents 18-year-old know-nothing students, prevents them from choosing their entire life path at 18. Instead, they get a taste of what the quote-unquote adult world is like. They get a taste of getting a paycheck, getting 30% off it stolen by the state, getting an idea of what it is to make rent, pay for your own groceries, cook your own food. And I'm, of course, talking about, you know, the lucky few. Are they the few? The lucky modern people who grow up in a nice... What the? Grow up in a nice environment and they are kind of sheltered and have a nice, comfortable life. And they end up going to college and come out the other end as a 26-year-old man-child that knows absolutely nothing about what the labor market looks like. And another thing being how these days you just cannot even count on your job that you choose, your career path. What the hell was that, my man? To actually still exist by the time you get out of college. It's like, maybe go into the labor market, get a taste for it, and if nothing else, you will get some real determination not to have to do some kind of menial low-level job that has zero education. Somehow these torches just keep going straight into the freaking drink, and my life is just a nightmare. My entire life in this run went straight into the garbage. What do you feel, though? What do you feel about this paradigm shift of there really should be a gap between high school and choosing the direction of your life with a career to study? Of course, if you are trying to go into higher education, it's not required, it's not mandatory. But that has been, in conventional wisdom, the optimal path to follow as a youth coming up in the West. I think of all of the things that you carry, I mean, I would rather just do one of these. Okay, you. Yep. Oh, baby. Give me that power pack. Actually, no. Let's grab the Explorer's pack. That is a big question mark at the end of that sentence. And I think it's just a pack that gives you resources on the transition of every level. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Just get rid of the regular telepack. Kind of need this dog, for I have been extremely bad at everything that I try to accomplish. Well, let's call him Kaya and call it a day. Did that monkey drop an idol? Give me some sugar. Oh baby, give me that good stuff. I like this little environment full of gold. I have a terrible itch in my ear. Yeah. One of those simple pleasures in life when you get a horrible itch and you get to scratch it. Oh, I live for those moments. See if we can shotgun the shit out of this man. I mean, this creature. Yeah. Okay, recovery. We are on our way to recovery. We're going to be just fine. Yeah, it seems like this pack is a replacement for the telepack that just gives you stuff when you transition. Very simple, but very appreciated. Mega Monkey, huh? Mega Monkey is kind of annoying, but also extremely easy. Yeah, well, that was like the easiest. I mean, when you have a shotgun, every boss is pretty easy. We're at 241. So if we go into the swamp, we'll get a pile of resources. Ah, you exist! You son of a... What is wrong with this monkey? He suddenly... I was doing battle with him, and then he just stopped moving. He got completely borked out of his strategy. It's like, just stomp on me, daddy. He did not want to do anything at all anymore with his existence. Don't blame him, though. When faced with this be-mustachioed psychopath, I too would just drop all of my will to live. Something like that. I am forgiven, therefore there are no monsters here. Oh, let's go once more to the swamp, for we are under 350. And I should get a bag. Yeah, give that to me, you fool. There was much sacrificing to Kali before arriving here. That is how I got my compass. So we might be able to get this to work. And I really could use that help from Dobby. So kind of annoying to get in there, though. A pitcher smith. That's pretty good. Mega Bee. Alright, we did not free the Mega Bee. So we should be able to just whip it. You don't get here, right? No. I'm always wary that he can go through the dang old gap. Oh, this pleases me greatly. What an amazing turn of events. You thought that the run was completely annihilated by my incompetence, but no. It's just a matter of finding the right stuff. Ah! Stop it, stop. These dang old grubs going right up my butthole. Maybe it will crawl into my chest and it will start talking to me. It will call me daddy, and all I need to do is feed it flesh to be able to make it grow and grow and grow, and it will grow in power until it bursts out of my chest. And then it just becomes my mount eventually when this grub becomes big enough. I read Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon. That is a fairly obscure reference that I just subjected you to. I think this bomb is decent. No. No, 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 don't do this to me. Get out of here. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, man. Oh. Don't you want to go with your mommy? No? Okay, let's do that. Don't shoot my delicious... Well, that's unfortunate. I'm just gonna have to put this thumb on my asshole and do the helicopter. Very upsetting. What just happened? I am snatching defeat from the jaws of success is what I'm doing here. Grab me that. Good stuff. Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon is by the guy that wrote Dungeon Crawler Carl. And boy, oh boy, is it freaking gross. It is right at the threshold of the pain that I can endure when reading something. There is one sequence of torture that just literally made me sick. I am somebody that cannot take a ton of gore. Especially cuts are really, really rough on me. Big open cuts, even I don't want to talk about it too much or I will get lightheaded. That is the level of pain that it inflicts upon my person. And this torture session in the book, it is exactly that type of torture. And I had to put the book down. And it's like, I'm actually getting lightheaded, getting sick from reading it. And from that point forward, I kept reading, dreading that there will be some other sequence like that. But it was some real, true horror. A real, true horror book that makes you sick to read. But it also was really enjoyable from the perspective of people dealing with trauma. It was a really fun book to read among all the horrible suffering. It's a hard one to recommend, though. I'm not poisoned, right? The turkey got it. There you go. And indeed, in part of the book is getting a grub as a pet that starts inside of his body and becomes a companion. Some seriously messed up stuff, though. It's one of those books that makes you really wonder about the author. Some books, it's like, yeah, okay, you know, you have an imagination. You can picture difficult, harrowing things. Other books are like, there's damage inside your brain, and I don't know if you should be trusted with small children around you. That is the kind of horrible shit this man came up with. Well, what you want me to do about it, brother? Like I said, snatch defeat from the jaws of success. What even are you? Oh, I have made you mad. Didn't mean to. Please tell me you have health inside it. You're not dead, you son of a... I thought he would explode through one attack. Oh, it's already been 34 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. Do we call Spelunky 2.5 feature complete? I don't know what you've been up to, TommTamm. You're kind of falling out of communication. But probably you just got busy with life and could not continue your insane pace of Spelunky 2.5 updates. Let me know what the plan is, though. this is a horrible situation. If you see the video, let me know what the plan is. Certainly still a few bugs here and there, but no crashes. So really positive impression in this version of Spelunky 2.5. Hopefully it is stable for everybody else as well.